Hi, Friar Tuck here. This is my epoch. All right, so I had a comment, and I wanted to give further clarification because I love it when subscribers have been following my content enough to where they're like, okay, you said this. This is why you're you have Sam, and you have the ability to be dangerous, and that is a very true statement because I have said it. But there is an underlying reason of like why I became a pacifist and kind of who I am as a human being. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today, is like why I became a pacifist. But I kind of gotta connect some of these old stories that I've told you together so that you can kind of get the full picture. So when I was about 5 years old, my mom's second husband taught me how to fight because I got my butt whooped by some bullies. Told me if I got my butt whooped again, that he would whoop my butt when I got home. So I made sure to beat up the bullies. I punched one in the nose, kicked one in the shin. It was pretty easy. But again, I was in kindergarten at the time, and because he couldn't keep a job and we moved around so much, that I went to so many schools in the state of Oregon that I actually ended up getting the reputation of the kid who would beat up bullies. And so anytime I would come into a school, they'd tell me, hey, yeah, here's the bullies, da 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 da, and I would go and I would deal with the bully. And it wasn't until I got to about 12, 13 years old, because I was a fighter in school. I was a gnarly fighter too, because not only was I aggressive to begin with, but I had a temper to go along with it. Well, with that being said, I was in sixth grade. This kid was in seventh grade. He ditched me over the summer because he found out I was a sixth grader, and so he tried to pick on me in school. And doing what I normally do, I said, okay, I'll meet you at the park that you ditched me at. And I had every intention of crippling this kid and making sure that this kid would never, if he made it back to school, he was coming back in a wheelchair. Okay, that was how I was back then. And I had him in a headlock for about 2 hours, ramming his head into the pole, punching him in his face. His friends would jump on my back, and I'd fling them off, and I ended up getting a nickname, Tank or Tractor, during that time period as well. And because the way I was raised is, you go out there, you fight, you don't take crap from anyone, or the consequences are going to be much worse. So I go home and I brag to my old man, and my old man sits there and looks at me and goes, no, we don't do that, because he could have been court-martialed for what I did. At least that's what he told me. Now later in life, he's like, I never said that. But yeah, actually, and this was probably one of the best things that he ever did for me, because I would probably be locked up in a padded room right now with what's wrong with me, because of my aggression and my ability to fight, and I'm not going to back down from anyone or anything. And I still fight that to this day. But the thing is he says, look, you like your Sega Genesis, you like your TV, you like all the things that you have. Well, the next time you get into a fight, you need to ask yourself if you're willing to lose all those things, because I'm going to take everything away. You'll have your bed and dresser until the day you turn 18. This will not be tolerated or accepted in this house. And what it did is it taught me to think about the consequences of my actions. And it made a huge impact in my life. It turned me away from the path that I was on, because by the time I was like 15, 16 years old, my family was so afraid of me. They thought I was going to end up dead or in prison, because of just the way I was raised by my mom, and just some of the dumb stuff that went on there. Okay, so my family was pretty well afraid. I put several holes in walls, and I've punched brick walls. I just, because when I was told I couldn't fight, or I would lose everything, well, I had to figure out another way to get out that aggression. Well, fast forward again until I have the accident at the airport where I have the gun go off on me, and that's when I start blacking out. That's when I start doing all, having the uncontrollable aggressive tendencies is what we'll call it, because I am what I am. Okay, so with that happening, it wasn't until about 2003 when I went to the hospital, because I'd had a panic attack so bad that, or actually that's what they were calling them back then, was panic attacks. I had it, whatever, so bad that I actually went to work, tried to just work through it, couldn't work through it. told my boss I need to go home, and on the way home we passed by the hospital, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna be a smart guy. I'm gonna go give these guys an option to help me, because if they don't, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna take care of my roommate, and it'll probably be the last thing he ever does, because I was so furious at what he did, because for the longest time, if you bothered my sleep, those were fighting words. Okay, so with that being said, I'm sitting in there, and the doctors are I'm telling the doctors, I said, you can help me, or this is what I'm going to go do. I'm giving you the option. It's your choice. I'm here doing my part. And they sit there and tell me, well, you know what, if you harm somebody, even in self-defense, because of what's going on with you, we will put you in a state mental institution doing the Thorazine shuffle for the rest of your life. You will get a life sentence. There will be no jail. There will be no opportunity. If you hurt somebody, this is what's going to happen. Now, from that point, because of the change that my father was able to make in me, and then having that put on over my head, it forced me to become a pacifist. And a pacifist is more of a mindset. So, for example, with the guy last night, the train hopper that I met, or even with many people that I meet, I can tell when things are escalating, and so therefore I try and diffuse the situation. If I can't diffuse the situation, then I generally just walk away and just be like, I'm done. I ain't gonna play this game. I don't go looking for a fight, because the thing is I've had to psychologically train myself not to do that, because of how harsh the consequences are that are hanging over my head for what is wrong with me. Okay. And this is something that I will have to deal with for the rest of my life. And I have been very fortunate. The one time that I've hurt somebody since the accident, I picked him up and threw him across the room, because I was actually defending a nurse. I was in the hospital at the time, and so I was actually defending the nurse. I didn't realize what I was doing. She threw orange juice on me. Next thing I know, she's on the other side of the cafeteria, and I come to find out like what happened, what I did, and kind of the nurse said, "Thank you for what you did." I'm like, I don't remember anything. I don't. And I got lucky in one sense, but the other thing is in 2003, those doctors lied to me, but it was one of those good lies. It's one of those, I'm glad they did it, because I could have given into my rage, my anger, my aggressive behavior that I was raised with as a kid, and I would probably be in jail right now. But because I thought of the consequences because of what my father did, I was able to step back and reevaluate it and just force myself into a pacifist attitude, a pacifist mentality. Now that it's getting to a point where I really do need to defend myself, it's kind of backfiring in my face, but I had to do that as a necessity for my own safety for the rest of my adult life. And that's just kind of the consequences of my actions. Okay. Now fast forward to about 2015. Okay. And me and my girlfriend, we went to the store. I was buying some ingredients because I was gonna make a red sauce and a meal for her friends that were putting us up. It was my way of saying thank you for giving us a place to stay. And so that was what I was trying to do. Well, one of the ingredients I had to, because a good red sauce comes with you use wine in it, and I use a Pinot. And she got upset at me. She's like, I'd rather spend our last $10 on weed. Why are you spending our last $10 on this? And I'm like, well, whatever, fine. I just won't even get it. I can do it without this ingredient. It's fine. I'll just keep the $10 and not spend it either way, because we don't need to be spending it on weed. And even though I'm a stoner and stuff like that, I'm not willing to spend my last dollar on something like that. I would rather spend it on food or some other resource or paying a bill. Okay, so She gets mad, throws a temper tantrum, asks me to pull the car over. I pull the car over, and she rips the keys out of the ignition, and I lunge for the keys. Okay, that was the crime in which I was charged for, is because they originally said that I hit her, that I assaulted her, which I did not touch her like that. No, I grazed her wrist when I was lunging for the keys. And I know that there's already going to be people out there that are going to twist this around or use this as a way. I've already had it happen once. I just don't care anymore. I mean, if you're that, as my old man says, if you're that ignorant, it's your problem. So, and so I ended up taking the plea bargain down to harassment, but because I was in a relationship, it automatically made it a violent crime. Okay, and so now I'm lumped in the same boat as, you know, the guys that used to beat my mom and me when I was growing up, and, you know, all those other wife beaters out there. But I didn't even do anything near or close to that. In a lot of ways, it was more instinctual, like somebody ripped something, you lunge for it, and you know, it was so quick and happened in such a split second. I didn't even have a chance to think about it. And you know, that is why I am listed as a violent criminal. And it bugs me because it closed off so many avenues for me, one, but two, it makes me out to be something that I'm not. I have never, since I have been 12 or 13 years old, I have not hit somebody in aggression. I have not been angry enough to hit somebody, and I have been to a point where I was ready to swing, but by the time I was ready to pull the switch, well, you know what? I lost all oomph. I'm like, nah. But again, that's the mentality of being a pacifist, is that you lose the will to be aggressive. But again, I needed to do that in order to keep myself from ending up in a padded room doing the Thorazine shuffle for the rest of my life. Okay, so and that was, you know, that was scarier, and the consequences were much worse than that. Okay, so I know a lot of you guys are gonna look at this and, you know, and put the pieces together and stuff like that, but that's what I was talking about this morning when I was talking about everything being closed off because of how they labeled a crime that wasn't even a crime. You have the right to defend your property, you have the right to defend your stuff, and if somebody comes and grabs your stuff, you have the ability to get it back from them. Well, not in today's society, and today, especially on the left coast. In the state of Oregon, if somebody breaks into your home, you are required to exit the premises, get a safe distance away from the place, and then call the police and hope that they show up on time to catch the guy as they're stealing everything from your house. Okay, and so because Oregon's laws are so tough against anti-aggression, it makes, you know, simple things like what I did that would have never even been considered a crime at any point in our history is now becoming a crime. Okay, and so that is why I said what I said, and I figured I would answer this because it gives me an opportunity to create content, to create a relationship with you guys, so that you guys get to know a little bit more about me, because you guys seem to be curious about that. But anyways, you know how to help the channel. Become a subscriber. Everything else is down in the description. Come on over to Patreon and get that free membership, and probably next week is when I'm going to start posting over there regularly. So, you know, this is just for you guys. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.